Hi once again everyone, it's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm. It is a Wednesday morning where things are looking busy once again in the weather department. We've got a winter storm heading our way later on today, so let's give you an update, some of my thoughts after I've looked at the overnight modeling on our snow later on today and into tonight. First of all, the local radar looks like this. The lake effect is starting to wind down, but actually still going at a pretty good clip near or just east of Cleveland, from Cleveland over to Euclid. And we have some streamers still skirting down into Geauga County and trying to get into Trumbull County as well. It's snowing lightly in parts of Trumbull County and even into parts of Mercer County this morning. But the snow this morning is of little consequence for most of our viewing area. We just have to watch out for some slick spots, that is for sure, as we go into the next couple of hours. Winter weather advisories are up for the entire viewing area. They go into effect this afternoon and run through tomorrow morning. And that's because we have a strong Alberta Clipper system heading our way. One of these fast-moving areas of low pressure. I'll throw on the isobars here and show you where the center of that low is. Here it is, right here. This is a pretty potent low. Now, right now, a lot of the snow is on kind of what we call the warm advection side of this. You could probably draw a warm front right through here. Now, it's not warm on the other side of it, but there is a subtle air mass difference, and this is kind of front-end loaded right now, where most of the snow is out in front of the storm. What we expect to happen later on this evening, as this continues diving south and east, is for the radar to fill in a little bit, kind of in this zone, kind of to the north and just to the northeast of the storm. And so it'll start to look a little more impressive on the radar as we go through time. But yeah, potent area of low pressure. Now, clippers are not a dime a dozen. Some are stronger than others, and this is going to be one of the stronger ones. That is for sure. It has plenty of cold air to feed on. Let me pop up the temperatures real quick here. This is heading into a very cold environment, where temperatures this morning locally are no higher than the teens. The wind chills are down in the single digits in a lot of spots, and so you know this is not going to be a wet snow that happens a lot of times when we're close to freezing. You can't make great snowmen out of this snow that's coming our way. This will be the kind of snow that accumulates efficiently but doesn't really pack all that well. All right, let's dive into some of the forecast information here. I told you about the winter weather advisory. Here's a look at some of the impacts. I expect the worst road conditions to be after sunset this evening and through the overnight, and that will of course lead to some slick conditions on the roads. The wind continues to slowly diminish this morning. Don't think the wind will be a huge factor for a lot of the night tonight. Breezy at times, but it's not going to be howling. We're not going to have huge problems with drifting snow and that sort of thing. Cold weather, yeah, that's high impact. You really got to bundle up. It is frigid out there this morning, and we'll only climb up into the 20s this afternoon. All right, so here's the snow map that we put out. Now, I'm going to show you why I'm a little bit nervous about some areas on this. Notice the vast majority of us are in this dark blue. That's the 4 to 6 zone. Now, last night when I drew this, I did have a little sliver of southern Columbiana County that's in the 2 to 4. What I suspect we're going to do today, after we look at some of the model information over the next few hours, is add more real estate to that 2 to 4 zone. And the reason for that is I'm nervous about a dry slot this evening. If you watched my videos last night, I started talking about this dry slot idea where a punch of air comes in that's drier, it doesn't snow much or very efficiently for a few hours, and that kind of limits the potential for some of the higher totals. And I suspect the highest chances of that will be south of 224 and especially down towards Route 30. So Lisbon, Hanoverton, Salineville, East Liverpool, even over towards East Palestine, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to see more than 4. You're probably more in the 2 to 4 zone. Still enough to shovel and plow and be disruptive, but I think your chances of getting more than 4 are going down through here. Now in Mahoning County, Trumbull County, Mercer County, Lawrence County, again, we give ranges for a reason. 4 to 6 does not mean 6. It means 4 to 6. And in this case, I think your chances of getting the higher end or the lower end are pretty similar. I think a lot of places will get 4, 4.5 to 5. Some places will try to get 6. But just because you just because you see 4 to 6 does not mean you're going to get 6 inches in that dark blue area. Focus on the impacts and not whether you get 4.5 or 5 or 5.5 inches. The impacts are going to be high, disruptive to your travel. Let's time this out. The steady snow, the first wave with that warm advection on the east side of the storm pushes in mid-afternoon. This is 2 o'clock. This may not be reaching the ground just yet, but by 3 o'clock we'll probably see some light snow across the region, and by 4 o'clock it may be snowing at a pretty good clip. So 4 o'clock, we're getting into the time of day where a lot of people are trying to leave the office and run some after work errands, and things could get a little slick, certainly right around 4 o'clock. Here's 5 o'clock. Now, what's going to be interesting to watch this evening is this dry slot. How does it push east? Does it more dive south and east? Or more due east? If it goes due east, everyone's going to get into the dry slot for a while. My suspicion is it's going to be more southeast, and so the dry slot has a higher chance of working into Canton and Alliance and Hanoverton and Lisbon and East Liverpool than it does in Boardman and Warren and Youngstown and places off to the north. So that's what we'll be watching this evening, where this dry slot goes, because again, anyone who gets into that dry slot for a couple of hours, it's going to be hard for you to get more than 4 inches in total out of this storm. Here's the snow then for everywhere later on this evening. This is 9 o'clock this evening, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock it's going to be snowing. So road conditions are going to be tough for a lot of the mid to late evening, and even into parts of the overnight. This is at midnight, still snowing, and I suspect the snow is not really going to taper off until we get into tomorrow morning. So early tomorrow morning, so 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Real quick word on the temperature trends here. We are going to start to thaw some over the weekend. Now, tomorrow night's going to be bitterly cold. If the sky clears for a few hours over this fresh snowpack, we'll get well down into the single digits tomorrow night, if the sky clears. If it stays cloudy, maybe we stop at a balmy 10 or 11. But we'll get well down into the single digits if we get a clear sky for a few hours tomorrow night. But again, the thaw for the weekend, and here's Christmas right there. I no longer think Christmas will be bitterly cold, like I thought might happen last week, but it does look chilly to coldish. Not a balmy Christmas, but certainly not a super cold Christmas either. We'll start to really honing in on the chances of a white Christmas once we get past the stormy weather we have at our doorstep here over the next 12 to 24 hours. All right, more updates, of course, throughout the day from myself, from Jess. I'll see you this evening on 21 News at 6 and 11, and an expanded, probably live version of Weather for Weather Geeks, my really in-depth, crazy detailed weather video. We'll get that online this evening, probably 7 to 8 o'clock. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.